Holy y'all, Marvel Rivals just put out their 2.5 devlog and there is a lot to unpack. This may have been the best cooking they've ever cooked since cooking became cooked. Alright, now I may be biased saying that because my main got a potentially crazy new team up that could make her OP for this mid-season, but before I get ahead of myself with the new team ups, let's take this one step at a time and talk about the information as it was released in the devlog. First and foremost, we got some information on the new map, Arakko, which is the sister island to Krakoa. Quick TLDR from someone who recently started reading the Krakoa era comics this year. Krakoa and Arakko used to be a singular sentient island called Okara thousands of years ago. Apocalypse and his then wife Genesis were the rulers of Okara until the island was attacked by demons. The ruler of these demons ended up splitting Okara into the two islands, Krakoa and Arakko, and then Apocalypse and Genesis sealed Arakko away in a different dimension, with Genesis and a bunch of mutants staying on Arakko to prevent the demons from ever coming back to Earth. Then Apocalypse began training mutants in preparation for possible future demon incursions. History lesson done. Now in the story of Rivals, apparently Ultron has taken control of Arakko and turned it into a biomechanical island for his nefarious needs, and we will likely be helping the X-Men take the island back and restore it to its former self. And that's pretty much all the info they gave us for the map. The devs also then talked a little bit about Ultron, mentioning he will be the game's first flying strategist, which I know people are going to love because I can't go a day without seeing someone online say that Adam Warlock should be a flying strategist and or that the game just needs flying strategists in general. Well, there you go folks, your wish has been granted. Next up we learn about 2.5's new limited time mode, or at least I think it's limited time. They called it an experimental mode, so maybe it'll stay around after season 2, but I guess we'll just have to wait for more information in that regard. The mode is basically an auto battler like Teamfight Tactics, but in Marvel Rivals, and it actually looks hella fun. There was a time when I was addicted to Teamfight Tactics, so if it ends up staying around for a longer time than 2.5, I am all for it. Essentially, from what they've shown, you'll be playing as Ultron and choosing 6 heroes to act as your units on the board. You will also be able to upgrade your heroes for this mode with buffs like extra damage, healing over time, shields, etc, etc. Then you're going to place your heroes where you want on the game board, and once the game starts, the heroes you place will auto battle with the enemy heroes. It also looks like you'll be able to hover above the game board as Ultron and attack enemy hero units. Personally, I love that they're experimenting with crazy modes like this because it always breathes a breath of fresh air back into the game. And it's actually kind of funny because I just watched a video the other day from the YouTuber TDT over on his TDT2 channel where he turned Rivals into a roguelike experience, and I ended up dropping a comment on that video saying that Rivals should use their limited time modes to experiment with other subgenres of games like MOBAs. And then coincidentally, this devlog drops like 2 days later with a new auto battler mode. So at this rate, it probably won't be long before we get a Paragon style MOBA limited time mode that I'm gonna be all over like steam on hot rice. Moving on, we got some more UI and cosmetic updates coming our way. The devs announced that Lord icons will now be visible to you from the hero selection screen. They also showed off something called moods, which looks like customizable status icons for your player card. Now to my millennial brain, these instantly reminded me of MSN statuses. All my dinosaurs in the audience automatically know what I'm talking about. It's 2008, your girl or boy just broke your heart, and now you gotta let your whole friends list know by changing your status to all caps, alone and brokenhearted, punctuated with a dead rose emoji, of course. And speaking of emojis, they're also releasing emojis that pop out from your hero's mouth in-game when used. These I already can love. Like, for as much as I love cool, brooding, and edgy things, hashtag I am man, I also just love being quirky too at random times, and I'm a sucker for emotes in games. Will these likely be paid cosmetic items? Yes. Will I shell out my hard-earned dollars for them? Also, yes. The devs also announced that starting in Season 3, the seasons are going to be shorter, with each season being only 2 months long, which means seasons will likely not get as stale as quickly, but that also means we'll have less time to climb the ladder. And finally, let's get into some of the more anticipated news coming from this devlog, changes to team up abilities and hero nerfs and buffs. I'm going to start this by mentioning the team ups that are going away in 2.5, which are going to be Luna Snow and Jeff's Chilling Charisma, Hawkeye and Black Widow's allied agents, Rocket and Punisher's ammo overload, Venom, Penny, and Spider-Man's symbiote bond, and then Iron Man is getting removed from the Hulk Namor Gamma Charge team-up. Now the new team-up's coming in 2.5, which I am hella excited for, and you're gonna see exactly why by the time I get to the end of this list. And these are Jeff and Storm for a ridiculous Jeff NATO, which will simultaneously do damage from Storm's ultimate and then have anyone caught in the Jeff NATO get swallowed up by Jeff. I'm really mixed on this one because I've been trying to get good with Storm, so from that perspective, this is a major buff for me. But also, I absolutely loathe Jeff's ultimate. It's one of those ults that can literally just win you a close match, so giving it a buff just kind of rubs me the wrong way. Jeff is also going to be a menace this season because he gets another team up with Venom, which lets him use symbiote tendrils to connect to and heal nearby allies. So I hope y'all are ready for a likely Jeff heavy meta in 2.5.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Punisher and Black Widow will also be getting a team up where Punisher allows Black Widow to change her primary fire to have pierce damage when aiming down the scope. I don't see this one being too much of a problem. I barely see Black Widow players in game, and I even more rarely see good ones, so I think we're kind of in the clear for this team up. This next one though may actually end up becoming a problem. Luna Snow now gives Hawkeye an icy arrow which stuns enemies in an AoE, does more damage the further away the targets are, and it goes through cover. Who decided that was a good idea? Rip anyone trying to use cover in 2.5. Now maybe I'm just getting ahead of myself, but I think the arrow going through cover is going to be a bit too much. If that is going to be the case, hopefully it will do reduced damage if it goes through cover, because I can already see people getting KO'd through the wall with this, and it's like, how do you even really counter that? Like, you don't know the arrow is coming, so you can easily just get hit with a stray icy arrow through the wall and just get annihilated, which just seems a little bit too much. It seems too OP for me, but what do I know? Anyways, Ultron and Iron Man will of course be getting a team up, cause duh. Ultron will basically get an Iron Man unibeam that's gonna pierce through enemies and allies, both healing and doing damage. So pretty much similar to Invisible Woman's primary fire and Luna's E ability that turns her primary into essentially a healing slash damaging railgun. And for the final and my most anticipated team up is Penny and Rocket. Coming right out of left field, this one has potential to make Penny a meta pick for 2.5. Rocket will give Penny a second spider nest that spawns spider drones as well as armor packs, and Penny is going to give Rocket an enhanced revive beacon that has a spider web underneath it and spawns spider drones as well as spider mines. Now Rocket can only have one of his revive beacons out at a time, so he'll have to choose between either the enhanced one or the regular one. But Penny can have both of her nests out at once. Now this team up could potentially make these two characters become game changers for the season, depending how the webs and spider drones work. For example, if Penny's second nest and Rocket's enhanced beacon all create drones in addition to Penny's original nest, and those extra drones can utilize the webs from her original nest and abilities, this would give Penny more than the maximum 10 drones her original nest already spawns. And if well placed, this could really increase Penny's ability to take space and lock down an area. Each drone already does 40 damage to enemies on her webs, so if Rocket's beacon makes, let's say, 5 drones and her second nest also can make a maximum of 5 drones, then when placed together, that's a total of 20 drones for a potential 400 damage to anyone walking on the webs. But of course, as with a lot of things in Marvel Rivals, only time will tell how good or bad these team-ups are actually going to be. However, I really do think that Penny is going to start getting hit with some hard target nerfs, as the devs seem to really be trying to buff her up, but they may be doing a little too much and will probably need to walk back some of these changes that they make. Finally, the devs wrapped up the log by mentioning some heroes that will be getting buffs and nerfs in Season 2.5 without going into too much detail. Heroes getting nerfed are going to be Groot, Captain America for the millionth time, because again, they've made him impossible to kill. I feel like Captain America is this rubber band that just keeps going back and forth. One minute he's not doing enough damage or he's not bulky enough, then they change him and he's too bulky, then he has to go back to being not bulky enough, and it's just like, can you guys just pick a good middle ground to keep him in, please and thank you. Emma Frost's diamond form is getting a nerf, hashtag sad. Psylocke is also getting a nerf, hashtag more sad. Iron Fist is getting a nerf, hashtag let's go. And finally, Human Torch is also getting a nerf. Now, heroes getting buffed are Doctor Strange, Magneto, Punisher, Squirrel Girl, oh no, and Storm, hashtag feel the wrath of the goddess. They also mentioned Luna, Snow, and Jeff will be getting some slight changes. Luna will have a higher ultimate energy cost, but will have changes made to her abilities to compensate, and Jeff is going to be getting some adjustments to his abilities as well. They will also be nerfing the team-ups for the Fantastic Four, Hulk and Namor, and then Emma Frost, Psylocke, and Magneto. And that last one hits close to home, as I personally love the clones Emma gives Psylocke. But yeah, that is all of the big news that they dropped today in the devlog, and I mean, it did not disappoint. There was so much in here that I was just like, wow, that's crazy. No way, how can they make this, how can they top the last thing they just said? And they just kept topping it. So 2.5 looks like it's going to be one hell of a shakeup to the system. A lot of heroes are getting changes and buffs and nerfs and new team ups, and I'm excited for 2.5. I cannot wait to get my hands on the game in 2.5, play some Ultron. He looks really fun, and yeah. With that said, I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all know what it is. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and slap that like. If you did not enjoy the video, then by all means slap the dislike, but you gotta make sure to comment and let me know why you hate me. And if you really like the video, go ahead and subscribe, and I will catch y'all later.